to two groups of people who are very important in getting the show on the road. We do most of the performing on these days, but without sound and lighting and without set crew, this wouldn't get on the road. This wouldn't be up here. I know make fun of you when things go wrong, but ultimately, if I went up the back there and tried to do the job that we do, I wouldn't know where to start. We can't do it without you. Thank you very much. And now we'd like to invite somebody very special to the stage, somebody who's been with us since year 7 and has done so much for our grade, Miss Jennings.
Actually, this is easier because I can't actually see your faces, which is fantastic for me. At this time, I started to think seriously about doing this speech about 2 weeks ago. I still had 26 reports to write. I'm sitting on my front veranda on the lounge out on my front veranda in the sun, as I do when I mark and write reports, and usually surrounded by my 2 girls who also decide that that's where they want to be, doing their homework or whatever. And I was jotting down some ideas, and I stopped, and I found that my heart was racing. I just stopped still, and my heart's going, and as it is right now. Because I always knew that this was going to be a challenge for me. I've never one for long speeches, and I've always been one for the heading towards the succinct. So here we go. So 6 years ago, Mr. Wayne called me into his office and said, "It's about time you're a year advisor, Katrina." I said, "Oh, okay." We handed over the list, there was a lot of decision making there. Okay. So armed with a big list of my new charges, and I went home in the holidays and I sat down and I started putting you into your 4 classes, sorting out the girls so we could spread them out evenly, because there's always less girls than boys, and having a look at all your primary schools and breaking up that great big clique from Summerhill. They knew in their year 7 class, and it was my first time looking at your names and starting to learn your names, so that I'd know who you were on our first day together, and that was of course in November. The first time I met you when you came here with your parents, and I spoke to you, I don't know if you remember, but I came down from behind the podium because it's so big and I'm not quite so tall, and I just didn't want to have that between me and you, and our very first time that we spoke to each other and saw each other. So I came down the front and talked to you and your mums and dads, and what I wanted for you and what I wanted to make this job for me was I wanted to make I'm going to burst my bubble there. I wanted to make sure that when you came to school and all the days that you had in your 6 years at the school, that you always expected to have a good time at school, and that nothing was going to spoil your day. That there wasn't anyone who was going to be picking on you, and there wasn't anything that was going to be happening that was going to make you not want to come to school. And that's what I told myself. This is what I told myself I wanted us to be. A large group of people that all supported each other and were friendly to each other and acknowledged when there were things wrong, that we could do something for each other. And that's exactly what you've done, as our numbers have increased from 120 to 169. You moved to the school as a lovely, friendly, coherent group of people, relatively unscathed. One of you tried to drown in the first 2 weeks of school at the swimming carnival, sank to the bottom. Oh, I saw the other people doing it, looked easy. Sank like a stone. 2 year 11s thrown into the pool to drag you up. Remember Mrs. Mackenzie's words? Don't you know you can't swim? Encounters with large creatures of the bovine variety. And of course, you know, we didn't make it through to the end without a few bee stings. And a few broken limbs. And you've survived the embarrassment of teachers sending you out on the playground to make you model the solar system, revolve and rotate around each other, sun flares. By Miss Coben, who's about to become a dad, by the way. So it comes through relatively unscathed, but it's the sort of people that you are that's made you very, very special. I think we're a very, very lucky grade, a very lucky group of people because you are so very kind to each other, always willing to offer kindness to each other, always willing to volunteer. I've never had difficulty having anyone volunteer or help me when I've needed you to help all the way through our time together. And of course the wonderful big hearts that you have in all your organisation in terms of working towards raising money for charity and what you've done for the school, and you just don't realise how beautiful that wonderful bank is that you planted in Year 9 on Arbor Day, and how it will go on for years and years and years and just be a lovely addition to the school for which you were responsible. But what I enjoyed too is the pride that you have in the success of your peers. That there's some healthy competition, but this acknowledgement that everybody has some skills and acknowledging the wonderful successes that they've had, and coming along on drama night and coming along on cabaret night and going along to basketball matches and soccer matches and just supporting each other so brilliantly as you've done today. And all these contribute to what I believe in, which is making life happy and harmonious for all the people around you. And it's our responsibility to make our environment harmonious. So when you're off at your diverse universities, and in 10 years' time when you're working all over the country and overseas, just remember that some of the greatest joys in life can come from simple acts of kindness and through acts of altruism, or always thinking of others, and that's what will bring you happiness. So follow your passions. I've been saying this to you since you came here. Follow your passions, make your choices from Year 8 to Year 9, the things that are going to make you happy. Follow your passions, because success never came to anybody whose heart wasn't in it. So true. So I'm sure that you all know that I've loved being your year advisor. And I think I'm going to be brave enough to sing in a minute. Yeah. Remember when you're out with your friends and you're raising a glass? Remember that it's better to think that the glass is half full rather than half empty. But I know that the pragmatic and mathematical amongst you will also acknowledge that the glass is just clearly too tall by a factor of 2.